I think our encouragement from this conversation is just to take a look at your habits and think about whether they're getting you closer to your goals, and if not, which ones are perhaps going in a different direction that you might want to reevaluate, and how can you take a baby step towards making improvements and adjustments.
Hype or legit? Game changing or garbage?
This is What's Hot and What's Not, where we put today's biggest self-help trends under the microscope.
All right, let's break this one down. Alrighty, hot or not?
This is a good one.
Yes, so hot or not, waking up at 5 a.m.
What's your take?
I love that shit. Early morning's my jam. Was it always? Absolutely not. Do I do it all the time? No. Do I love it? Yes. A long, quiet morning with a cup of coffee and a book. Oof. I look forward to that when we go to bed early. I'm excited about it.
Yeah. So mine was yes with an asterisk if you go to bed early enough. What's hot is getting 8 hours of sleep.
Yes.
So I don't think it's cool to wake up at 5 a.m. if you went to bed at 1 a.m. because you're working so hard and you're trying to prove to everybody how hard you grind and how much you can suffer. That to me is stupid because you are not optimizing your brain on only a few hours of sleep. So I think it's all contingent upon when you go to bed. So if you're not going to bed early enough to get your 8 hours in, then no, it's not hot. But if you go to bed early enough and you can wake up at 5 a.m. and get your 8 hours, awesome.
Yeah, 100%. So yes, caveat or asterisk, get your fucking sleep.
Yeah.
You got to have 7 to 8 hours. If I train really, really hard during the week, which here recently I've just amplified it like crazy, I'm not waking up at 5 a.m. if I go to sleep at 11. It's not happening.
Nope.
I'm not waking up at 5 a.m. if we go to sleep at 10. We go to sleep at 9 all day, man. I'll be up at 5. I'll be feeling frosty, get the coffee made. I want the coffee in my hand by 5:30 with a book. I love that. Excellent. So, hot with an asterisk.
Yes.
I'm Chris.
And I'm Kiley.
Welcome to the 1%, where small shifts create big wins.
We're redefining resilience for high performers, 1% at a time, so you can keep advancing, no matter what.
All right, what are we talking about today?
High performance habits.
Heck yeah. What do you think of when you say that, though? Like, what the hell's a high performance habit and a low performance habit?
I would say a high performance habit is one that you intentionally do to move you closer to your goals. I think a low performance habit is one that you do without thinking that takes you further away from your goals.
Or moves you in a direction. That's the problem. The low performance habits are just habits we create that move us somewhere, doing something with no intention.
Yeah, I mean, but isn't it either going in the direction of your goals or away?
Yeah, you can haphazardly good things, quote unquote, be lucky. You know, a habit might be going to the gym. You don't really have a goal, but go to the gym is a habit. So therefore, it creates a solid outcome. It could be better. It could be more intentional. It could drive you farther, faster to a better, more lucrative goal.
I still think it's a high performance habit either way.
Yeah.
I think a low performance habit is like drinking alcohol.
True. Yes, that is definitely a low performance habit. Or choosing to not go to the gym or clean your house or take care of things that need to be taken care of. Definitely low performance.
I think like watching TV also would fall into the category, but I also, here's the struggle that you have to decide what you want out of life first, because not everybody is going to be a part of this high performance category. I mean, we named this podcast the 1% because it really is a very small group of people that are really driving towards high performance. So we're really talking to the people that are trying to be very intentional about how they spend the majority of their time. Now, you watch Netflix a few hours a week. That doesn't mean you're a low performer. I don't know. Maybe there's people out there, probably David Goggins. I don't know. But even him, I feel like at some point it's okay to rest. It's also okay to do some things because you find it enjoyable, right? So I don't necessarily think of habits as high performance or low performance. I just think of it as productive or unproductive. And if I am watching TV, I know it's unproductive time, but I also know that there is value in me resting also. If I've had a busy week and I'm exhausted and, it's 7:00, it's not quite time for bed yet. It's going to throw off my sleep schedule if I go to sleep at 7 p.m.
Yeah, it just depends on where you want to go. That's why our framework for Odyssey starts with vision.
Yeah.
You have to understand where you're going. Intentional actions create habitual actions. Your habits, these habits of high performers we're going to talk through here, are heading you towards the goal of refining your processes to be the best at what you do. And not everybody wants to be the best. And I'm okay with that. That's like you said, we have a podcast called The 1% because that's who we're talking to, not the 99.
Well, and unintentional habits also create habitual action.
Yeah, they do. That's why the equation works. Yes. If you're interested in that equation, reach out. I'm more than happy to talk to you about the entire equation.
Reach out to Christopher.
Yes. All right. So let's talk about the top 10 habits of high performers. So we're going to list these one at a time and kind of work our way through them. And at the end of it, I'm going to list all 10 of them again, because what I want you to do is at the end of this podcast, I want you to write these down. I want you to list them and ask yourself, do I do these?
Can I guess them?
Can you guess each one of them?
Yeah.
If you get any one of these at a guess, I'll be impressed.
Okay.
Go for number one.
Okay. They read or learn.
They is the only correct part of that sentence.
Oh, how rude.
They ruthlessly prioritize. High performers identify what truly matters and say no to distractions, even good opportunities that don't align with their mission.
Yeah. Everything's a trade-off.
It is. And part of the reason a vision is so important is it gives you an easy yes and an easy no. Some things might be great. Some distractions, if you will, or other avenues might be exceptional avenues. But if it's not heading you towards or pushing you towards your vision, the thing you've aligned with, then it's a no. It's an easy no. Is this pushing me towards my goal, my vision? No. Get it out of there. Might be great for somebody else, might be the other person's North Star, the thing that guides them, but it's not yours. Number 2, they protect their energy. Through sleep, nutrition, movement, and recovery, they treat their body and brain like performance machines.
Yeah, the body and brain are not mutually exclusive. So you have to take care of the body that carries the brain. If you don't do that, you are not optimizing your brain's performance. It's pretty simple.
That's why I get such a kick out of the everybody's healthy mentality. Some bodies are different. You're carrying around 50 extra pounds of weight. You're not healthy, bud. It's an unarguable fact. Your brain and your body have to work harder. If you are not optimized, you're not optimized.
Yeah, you might be healthy. You might not have any health issues, but you're not optimized.
That's the kicker. You aren't healthy, generally, if you're overweight. You might not have current health issues, meaning the system has not decided to kick back and give you some kind of response. One of my favorite concepts or favorite things to talk through with people is male testosterone levels. Males will come in or guys will come in and they'll say, hey, listen, my blood panel sent me this. Turns out I have a testosterone level of 250. Okay. Do you feel good? Yeah. Do I feel awesome? Yeah. Do I have great days in the gym? Yeah. okay, when you started, your test level was probably north of 800, about 18 years old. The slow fall from that level, which I think 800 to 1,000 is optimal, down to 250 took 20 years. So you don't necessarily feel the swing because it took 20 years to create it. So because we don't have current health issues doesn't mean we are where we should be. So you have to take intentional action to find out what is the best and move yourself back up to it. That's why you end up with the equation, I'm old, this is how it happens. No, you haven't done anything about it, and you've waited 40 years to make a decision to change, and now you're feeling the repercussions of 40 years of neglect. So just because you're not presented with an issue right now doesn't mean there isn't an issue. It means it isn't bad enough that it causes a problem.
So also, right now is the youngest you'll ever be.
Exactly. Number 3, they master their mornings. High performers start their day with intention, often through routines involving planning, exercise, mindfulness, or learning.
That was a huge game changer for me. As soon as I stopped rushing in the mornings, it changed everything. My anxiety was lowered significantly, and my sleep improved. The whole mood for the day improved. I no longer was stressed throughout the day. It was actually enjoyable to talk to clients because I wasn't like frantically trying to get on Zoom calls with 1 minute to spare.
Yep.
To kickstart my day, and I'd already gone through some self-care and done things that I enjoyed doing, sitting on the couch, drinking my coffee peacefully.
Well, just a 20-minute coffee in the morning on the couch changes the game for everything.
Mm-hmm.
You've woken up, taken intentional action, brewed the coffee how it needed to be done, make it the way you like it, and you get to sit with nothing but your mind and quiet and enjoy your coffee.
Mm-hmm.
You start the day with intention. So it's easier for your brain to continue that intentional action, that process throughout the day. Number 4, they practice deliberate focus. They work in blocks of deep, distraction-free time to solve hard problems and create meaningful work.
Yeah, I think one thing that a lot of leaders struggle with is not spending enough time on the important tasks because they're constantly just dealing with the urgent tasks. And the urgent tasks will always push the important ones aside because the important ones are not the squeaky wheel getting the grease.
The funny part about that problem is you're going to keep creating the current problems, the ones that are allowed. You're only putting out one fire to start another.
Yeah, the important tasks are important for a reason because they're going to be the ones that are going to move the needle the most and have the biggest impact. So if you're constantly deprioritizing those, I mean, it's like expecting your business to grow but not doing your business development activity. You cannot have a successful business if you don't prioritize revenue generating activity. I knew when I started a business, the only thing I needed to care about was getting clients in the door. If you're not doing those important things, my prospects will never know that I didn't reach out to them.
Yeah.
They're never going to be like, that stranger never emailed me today.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm never going to have anybody to disappoint if I don't do the business development outreach. But it is the most important part of growing a business. And very often it gets the most neglected because it doesn't produce instant gratification. It's not giving you the dopamine because it's not producing instant results for you. You don't get a client right away. Very rarely are we getting clients or prospects to respond back to a cold outreach email saying, yeah, let's do business together.
I always think it's funny whenever I talked with other business development guys and gals when I was in a previous role. And they're like, man, you got a lot of traction. I'm like, brother, I've been working on this for 2 years. 2 years gave me one really important interaction that has now spread to multiple different avenues that I can now capitalize on, but take still a mountain of intentional action. It was meet and greet and wine and dine for 2 years. And then it took off. Then it's like I can't field this much work. But it takes a ton of deliberate focus and time blocked. I would take several hours every day and just outreach. That was it. Call, email, whatever I needed to do, visit complexes. It was, this is why I'm here, and this is what this time is for, and this is the only thing I'm going to do with it. But you're right. There's no instant gratification.
Nope.
Number 5, they track their progress. I love this one. I tell people all the time, training is 2 things and 2 things only, measurable and repeatable. If it's not measurable and repeatable, it ain't fucking training. Just like business. If I can't measure it and I can't repeat it, I'm just guessing.
Well, it's also important to pay attention to the progress instead of what's not working. It's very simple. I remember when I implemented a new planner, I didn't fill out maybe 2/3 of it. So I got this quarterly planner and I was really gung-ho about it. I'm like, this is going to revolutionize my time management. So the first quarter, and this thing was $50. I was monetarily invested. I filled out maybe 1/3 of it during that quarter. And I was like, man, what a failure. Like, I did not execute this well at all. And then it hit me. I'm like, wait a minute. I was better 1/3 of the time than I had been previously.
Yeah, it's huge.
So instead of comparing it to 100% perfection, I compared it to my previous self and realized, okay, let me give it another quarter. And after that second quarter, I filled out 2/3 of it. And by the 3rd quarter, I was using this thing religiously and had created the habit. What we don't understand is high performance habits take a ton of time to solidify. And most people are going to give up after the first planner and think, oh, I suck. This didn't work. Well, no, it didn't work perfectly, but it did work better than nothing before.
When you're rebuilding a system, right? Or so in a lot of ways, you're building a system from scratch. What doesn't work? Well, doing nothing's definitely not going to work. Doing something might kind of work. Refine it. Find out what parts are easy for you, what parts are hard for you, what's making you grow, what's working, what's not. And then eventually you have this really refined, beautiful system that you operate on smoothly, intrinsically. You don't even think about it. You just do. And then you look back and you're like, well, shit, man, 50% of my time or 1/3 or 2/3 of my time are filled with this new process. I'm 2/3 of the way better.
Yeah.
And nothing, since perfection doesn't exist, 100% of the time will never happen. 2/3 is pretty fucking good.
Yeah. I
and
mean,
it's a ton of growth.
I mean, now I just think in that framework and I don't even have to fill it out and I'm still thinking in the framework now. I plan my week accordingly. I still use the framework, but I don't need to fill it out in depth detail like I did before to still organize and structure my days the way that I created that structure for. So, I mean, it's now ingrained in my process.
That's the same with weightlifting. I've created so many programs. I know exactly or generally what works, what doesn't. And it's easier for me to give myself smaller looking programs. They're not as wordy. They're not as lengthy. They're not as in depth because I know what I'm looking at. It's very quick. It's a couple words. It's on. Super easy. Yeah.
You become super competent, you know? That's how you develop a habit.
Well, you know more about yourself.
Yeah.
Number 6, they surround themselves with excellence. High performers curate their circle, mentors, peers, and even employees to elevate their standards and accountability.
Yeah.
You are the 5 people you hang out with the most.
Studies show that high performers who are around low performers end up doing worse on a performance perspective, and low performers who hang out with high performers end up doing better. So you are who you surround yourself with. A high performer does not want to be around low performers. If you've got a high performer in your organization, the worst thing you can do is put them with a bunch of low performers.
Yeah, it doesn't bring them up. Nick Saban,
Yes.
like him or love him, came out and said high performers, or people hate, low performers hate high performers. They hate them. They loathe them. They can't stand them. And vice versa. The reason is because they are operating on completely different worlds, completely different levels. A high performer does things that a low performer can't fathom. Well, I don't want to go do that. I don't want to have to do the small thing. Oh, you mean I have to go to the gym again?
Yeah,
A high performer doesn't even ask. That's just part of my fucking week, man. This makes me great. This is a non-negotiable for me. This is going to happen because it's required of me to be the best possible. And you've created a habit.
low performers think high performers are aggressive, and high performers think low performers lack passion.
Yeah. I used to hear it all the time when I first started in the gym because I was wildly passionate. Had really no idea what I was doing, but man, I wanted all of it, right? I wanted to be the bodybuilding, powerlifter, strongman, CrossFitter, right? I just wanted to be great at everything, not necessarily CrossFit, but I wanted to be great at everything. So people would say, man, you're obsessed. And I would be offended. I'm like, I'm really obsessed. I really like this. It's really good for me. It makes me better in every avenue. I'm a better dad. I'm a better person. I'm a better employee, but I'm obsessed. That's like a really negative connotation for what I'm doing. And the more I got into it, the more I thought, who's calling me obsessed? Who's telling me that I'm doing something wrong? Do I want to be around those people? Do I want to be like those people?
Yeah.
And it turns out the people that were calling me obsessed were abundantly lazy.
Yeah, by comparison, you probably are.
Which I'm totally fine with.
Yeah.
If you call me obsessed for carrying around a water bottle and making sure that I stay hydrated, or carrying around pre-made meals because I need to be the best version of myself possible to achieve the things that I've set out in front of me, awesome. You've told me all I need to know about a relationship with you. One, I probably don't need it. And two, I can't trust you to do the hard things like I do. Now, number 7, this bleeds right into it. They train resilience, mental toughness, emotional regulation, and the ability to bounce back are habits, not traits, and they build them continuously.
And if you need help with this, please contact Odyssey Resilience.
It's part of the reason it's in the name. And part of the reason the name is Odyssey Resilience is this is an odyssey. It's a journey.
Of resilience, because it is something. It is a muscle you have to flex and develop.
Yes, but you have no choice. It's literally, we're all in the ocean. Are we going to battle against the waves and get to where we want to go, or are we just going to be swept away? Number 8, they act with speed and precision. High performers don't wait for perfect. They take calculated, fast action, then refine through feedback.
I think this is where my efficiency brain comes in.
Yeah.
We're just talking about this. I think efficiency is like the balance of speed and precision. It's getting something done well enough to get to the end game at a pace that is well suited for the task at hand.
It's a fighter pilot mentality. You're going Mach 2 in the air, chasing somebody or needing to shoot something or whatever the hell the fighter pilots do. You don't have time to be at 100%. You have time to be at 80. I'm okay with a 20% chance of losing or making a mistake with an 80% chance of success. That's a fantastic mentality. Yeah. Let's get going. Let's put this down as fast as we can. Let's get to 80% and start, and we'll refine through feedback. That's that 20%. I'm going to get feedback from it because it exists. That 20% didn't go away because I pushed on the gas pedal. It might have become a little bit louder because now I'm presented with that. But you're moving forward. You're making progress. Refine as you go. But if you wait for 100%, I'll open my business whenever I have enough money to field any kind of potential problem that may ever exist. You're never going to open.
Yeah, perfectionism will kill you.
Faster than anything else. Number 9, they seek feedback constantly.
I think I got this one. This was what I said. They're constantly learning.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I got this one. You didn't even
just
give me a
farther down
point.
the line. They don't wait for reviews. They ask, observe, and adjust based on what's working and what's not.
You know what's funny is after a meeting, I asked TJ if he had any feedback for me, and he goes, well, yes, now that you've asked. And he just unloaded. And I was like, well, thank you. And then I was like, man, I probably wouldn't have gotten that feedback if I hadn't asked for it. I was like, I'm so glad I asked because I probably would have made the same mistake next time around had I not asked for it. Like, what a valuable question. Can I get some feedback? How am I doing? And the reason we don't ask for feedback is because we don't want the criticism, because we have a tendency to take it personally. Until you learn not to take anything personally, you're never going to want to ask for feedback.
Well, that bleeds into the next one. They invest in self-mastery. If you're not trying to become the best version of yourself, then you're going to take feedback personally. Because it's a personal attack on something that you are not trying to become better at, meaning you think you are done growing in that area, and it's offensive. They invest in self-mastery through coaching, reading, reflection, or mentorship. They continuously evolve, not just professionally, but personally.
Okay, this was definitely the first one I started with.
Yeah?
Yeah, I guess this one. I pretty much got 2.
They consistently learn?
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's true though. Yeah. I think this is in reverse order. I think this is the kicker here.
Yeah, absolutely. I have always believed, I mean, that's why learning is one of my personal core values, because I think my desire to learn has gotten me everywhere in life. Everywhere. If I wasn't so interested in learning and growing, I don't know. I don't even know what that would look like. I can't even fathom it, because I've just had such a natural curiosity my entire life and a desire to win. You know, once I found out what grades were, I wanted to get the best grades.
Yeah.
When I understood what a salary was, I wanted to have the best salary. I wanted to have more. I wanted to climb the ladder. When I found out what titles were, I wanted to have a great title. I wanted to have a leadership position. I wanted to influence. I don't know what it's like to not want to learn.
And it's kind of baffling. I've had like a couple points in time in my life around people that like were really defining to me. Like, whoa, who am I hanging out with?
Yeah, like when I ask somebody, oh, have you read this book? And people are like, oh, I don't read. I'm like, what?
So same thing happened to me. I had the book called The One Thing.
Oh, yeah.
Fantastic book. I had read it twice because I thought it was so awesome. And it was sitting on my end table next to my couch. I had a buddy come over, sits down on the couch, picks it up and goes, what's this? I said, man, that's an excellent book. I love that book. I've read it 2 times in a row. I literally finished it and restarted it. I thought it was great. It's a ton of highlighted stuff in there. You can borrow it if you want. He takes about 2 minutes max. 2 minutes would be a long time for how long this guy thumbed through it. Literally flips through it, gets to the end, goes, I know all this shit, and chunks it like to the other side of the couch. And I looked at him and I'm like, what? You know all this stuff? You are performing less than I am at a lower level than I currently am. And you thumbed through a book that I just told you was excellent and worth my time 2 times over in a row. And you know it all. I said, well, shit, man. Can you explain it to me more
Yeah.
than, it took me 2 times to read it to really soak up a lot of knowledge.
Can I take your course?
What the fuck? But it was really interesting because now I got to see who this person was clearly. I refuse to be told that I'm better or could be better than I currently am. I refuse to believe that there's an avenue for me to become better. I refuse to believe that somebody else out there knows more than me.
Yeah.
And I refuse to have any kind of personal responsibility in becoming better. I'm great how I am. Fuck everybody else. That's exactly what he told me in a very short phrase.
Yeah.
I already know
Yeah.
everything in this book. It's fascinating.
It is wild. But again, I think that's where we go back to. That's an unintentional action. He closed himself off to learning at some point. And I don't know. We go to college and we're forced to learn and get evaluated, and we get these full-time jobs where we think, okay, this is it. I have arrived. I don't need to do any more schooling. I don't need to do any more learning, unless you happen to work for an employer that creates a culture where learning and a growth mindset are necessary for success there. But truly, like, that's not common. That is something that we do intentionally at McGuire Sponsel, because we know how important learning and development is. I mean, when they brought me on as the leader of the people function of the organization, that was my number one priority, tasked to me by leadership. And when I sent out a book to 3 of the leaders in our company, I said, hey, who wants to read this with me? All 3 of them replied back saying, ordered the book.
Oh. But that's the difference between leaders and the ones that do it because they have to.
And it just goes to show, like, do you have the friends that are going to chunk the book across the couch, or the people that are going to order the book because you said it was worth reading?
Because at the end of the day, if I get one nugget of knowledge out of 300 pages that'll help me become a little bit better, that's totally worth it.
Well, and one little nugget of knowledge could change a huge part of how you operate that could make you way more efficient for the rest of forever.
Yeah.
I mean, just that one planner implemented, or the planner that I implemented changed the way I prioritize my time on a consistent basis, and the impact that that's had on me and my clients that I've had over the years, because I've implemented that with other people as well that I've worked with and my team now. I mean, it's changed lives, several dozens probably.
Easily. I cannot tell you. I don't think I can fathom the amount of change that I've gone through personally by just reading the books that I've read. Investing the time in how can I glean knowledge from this individual and what they've gone through, and the fact that they've created this life on their own.
But you don't have time to read, so it's probably fine. You're busy watching Netflix and doing whatever else, scrolling through the news feeds. And, when I do that shit, I think, like, man, I could be reading a book right now. I could be learning something. I could be using my imagination, doing something creative. I could be doing a lot more things that would be higher impact than staring at a screen. And that's the reality of the situation. Yeah. So that, I think, would be our encouragement from this conversation, is just to take a look at your habits.
Yeah.
And think about whether they're getting you closer to your goals, and if not, which ones are perhaps going in a different direction that you might want to reevaluate, and how can you take a baby step towards making improvements and adjustments.
So I'm going to reread all of these, leave a little bit of space in between so you can write them down. When you work through this, just ask yourself, am I doing this? Am I ruthlessly prioritizing my time? And if I'm not, what am I doing with my time? That way you can give yourself a framework of where you are currently and where you want to go.
And sometimes it helps to grade yourself on a scale of like 1 to 10 and ask, okay, if I'm an 8, 8's pretty good, but what would get me to a 10?
Yeah, or 8.5 or an 8.1
or 9.
Yeah. Like what is going to move the needle forward? All right. So the top 10 habits of high performers. Number 1, they ruthlessly prioritize. Number 2, they protect their energy. Number 3, they master their mornings. Number 4, they practice deliberate focus. Number 5, they track their progress. Number 6, they surround themselves with excellence. Number 7, they train resilience. Number 8, they act with speed and precision. Number 9, they seek feedback constantly. And last one, number 10, they invest in self-mastery. I hope you take these, you internalize them, you put them into your journaling, you do something with them. 1 out of the 10 is even fine. But these are habits that are created by your intentional action. If they aren't habits yet, they can be if you make intentional actions to do them. Big results come from small, intentional actions.
And that's why we're taking on the 1% challenge, a simple, actionable step to get just a little bit better every day.
No excuses, just progress. Let's do it. All righty, welcome back to the 1% challenge. Womp, womp, womp. I need to get that little horn thing. I love that.
Is it called a foghorn?
Yeah, it is called a foghorn. I think it is. That's the deep one. That bomb.
Yeah, that's
the terrifying one that boats have.
Yeah,
I think if I was in the water and somebody blew a foghorn like that, I would probably die. It would scare me so much. I'm terrified of open water. Anyways, 1% challenge. This is going to coincide with the previous hot or not. Get 8 hours of sleep for 1 week. That's 7 days.
Yeah, if you're one of those that says, oh, I don't need it, try it anyway.
I'm telling you, that will revolutionize everything. We have found through the studies that we've read and multiple people doing research outside of our or above our intelligence level that being drunk and being tired are almost the same.
Yeah, Ariana Huffington actually said that. She wrote a book on sleep and said not sleeping is essentially the equivalent of being drunk and trying to function. Your cognitive ability is far worse. So you don't know how you'd operate on 8 hours until you've actually tried it consistently for a few days. And or if you don't want to get 8 hours, get a wearable. Get one of those rings. I've tried them all. I've tried Whoop. I've tried Oura Ring. I now like to wear the Ring Con, which is Ring, RANGCONN. Look it up. It's a little daintier than the Oura Ring, but I love it because it tracks my sleep and I know exactly where my sleep's at every day. So I know if I'm going to perform at my best or if I might be a little bit tired and have to rely a little bit more on an extra cup of coffee or something and some caffeine to get me through and be at peak performance. But a wearable will help you gain some insight into where your sleep is actually at. So if you're not going to do the 8 hours for 1 week challenge, go get a wearable and see where your sleep's actually at. You'd be surprised.
There you go. 1% challenge. Get as much sleep as you can for 7 days. Or at least track it for 7 days. Feedback from that, please give it to us. I love to hear from y'all. I know Kiley loves to hear from y'all. Any more data we can get to be better at helping you do the things you want to do or becoming a higher performer, that's what we want. Get after it. That's a wrap for today's episode of the 1%. If you're ready to take your resilience to the next level,
head to odysseyresilience.org. to dive deeper into our work, access free resources, and learn how we help high performers redefine resilience.
Thanks for listening. Now go get 1% better.